Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here we are with a look at the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro. Probably consider this to be one of the premium convertible or multi-mode ultrabooks on the market at the moment. So we're going to have a quick look at the machine itself. Actually, we're going to come back to that in a second. We'll just have a look at the accessories that are included. Bear in mind, this is a review model. I'm probably not the first person to see it. So inside the box we have the charger, which obviously has a charge pack, and then a cable that plugs into the ultrabook itself, and it has an unusual square style connector, which many of the Lenovo ultrabooks and laptops have. So that's that there. We're going to have a power cable, should be in that side, that's missing. It's in this side. Yep, there we go. So we have it's a US actual cable there, with a UK adapter provided. As I say, this is a review unit, so it's slightly atypical of what we would normally see from Lenovo. It would be UK. So there we are, we have the quick start guide, the warranty and safety and all that kind of information in the middle in that section. Let's just pop that all to one side and out of the way and take a look at the Yoga itself. So I have, as you can see here, the orange version. I think they call it tangerine, which is kind of nice actually. It's a little bit different and kind of stylish, sort of metallic-y finish. Rather nice, and as you can see, it's a pretty slim unit. Obviously, ultrabooks typically are, but it's pretty slim indeed. We'll run down the size and spec in a moment. So that's where we plug in that square and slightly unusual power cable. We have a USB 3, we have a micro HDMI, and then we have an SD card reader on the side as well. Looking around to the front, not really anything to see in the front when it's closed. And to the other side, we have the power button. Have another button there as well, not really sure. There's a little LED too. There is a lock for the rotation when you're actually using it in tablet mode, so you can stop it from rotating the screen. Up and down volume control. There is a headphone, or actually it's a headset socket, so it actually is microphone and headphones in one, so it's 4-pole. And then there is the USB socket on the back there, so the USB 2.0. Now you can see on the back there's a couple of grills towards the bottom edge, and then on the bottom again nothing really to see. There's obviously the logos and for Windows 8 and the serial numbers and all that kind of stuff, and not a lot else to see. But again, the colouring is continued around to the bottom, which is quite nice. Other sort of different coloured laptops and ultrabooks typically have all the colour on the top and nothing on the bottom, so it's nice to see that it's continued throughout. Looking to the inside, and we'll remove the cover over the keyboard that's there. So inside we have a 13.3 inch display, and this one, well, this is where I think the Yoga 2 Pro is quite sets itself apart really from its competitors, is in this 13.3 inch display. It's actually a QHD display, which offers pretty staggering actually, 3200 by 1800 pixels. Very high res really for a 13.3 inch display. It is quite, well, I think that's very impressive. IPS as well, and 10-point multi-touch touchscreen, so that's 3200 by 1800 pixels. Pretty awesome, I would say. There's also a camera at the top there that you can see, which is used for the sort of video conferencing and that kind of stuff. The spec of that is a 720p HD video and still capability. So that's on the front there. There's a little couple of sensors that you can possibly make out just around the edge. One there is a ambient light sensor. Then we have the keyboards itself, so you can see they're sort of chiclet style keys, individual and quite nice. I think they actually might even be illuminated, but certainly they've got sort of a whitish edging around them. Does mean that it's a little bit easier to identify them too. But a nice keyboard. It's very similar to the keyboard that you find on some of the other Yoga tablets that are out there at the moment. And then we have, as you can see here, the trackpad, which is quite large, and obviously has physical buttons on there for the mouse operation. So the thing with this is that see, Lenovo make an awful lot of the convertibility, so we can work in laptop mode such as this, then we can swing around and we can work in tent mode like that. See, calling it tent mode because it's that way around, so we can work in that way, which means that basically it would really be that way, so the screen is set up like that. You know, if you're watching films or stuff, something like that in bed, probably put it on your lap and actually face it towards you, or you can have it on the table, that mode, which they sort of really can refer to as stand mode, so that actually stands on its keyboard facing towards you, and then all the way back then you have the tablet mode. The nice thing about the operation of it in tablet mode and in stand mode is once you get past that sort of just over that 90-degree mark, folding it backwards, it actually disables the keyboard and the trackpad as well, so you don't inadvertently press the buttons on the back and it goes into full touchscreen only. So pretty impressive. I have the Yoga, standard Yoga 13, and I've been really impressed with it. So the Yoga 2 Pro obviously should build upon that, and as I say, this is kind of premium in terms of its specification, and really to emphasize that different models are available. There's an i3, an i4, sorry, an i3, an i5 and an i7 model available. I have the i5. Each of them have Intel graphics 4400 included, USB 3.0 one socket, and USB 2.0 there's also one socket. Micro HDMI out, we'll see, already looked at. In terms of weight, 1.39 kilos. Really is quite light, easy to hold it in just one hand like this, and sort of you could use it that way if you so desired, but easy to hold in one hand, and certainly nice and easy to hold when it is in the tablet mode. Obviously it's somewhat heavier than a dedicated tablet, but then we do have the advantage of the convertibility. The battery life is suggested to be around the 9-hour mark in a typical Windows 8 usage environment. The memory on this one, I have the 4 gig model, but you can have 2, 4 and 8 gigabyte internal memory RAM models available. Windows 8.1 Pro is the pre-installed operating system. Storage, 128 gig model here, but there is a 256 and a 512 gig SSD version available as well. As you can imagine, obviously going towards the higher end makes them pretty expensive, certainly towards the 512 SSD, but the entry level is 128. Built-in Bluetooth 2, Bluetooth 4, sorry, and Wi-Fi 802.11b, G and N. And finally, those dimensions that I mentioned earlier on. So we have 330mm wide. We are 220mm from back to front, if you like, in terms of depth, and thickness only 15.5mm. That's pretty thin. Can certainly remember a time when you would find mobile phones that would probably exceed that, and probably there are some on the market that already do exceed that 15.5mm. So pretty impressive, I'd say. Let me see if we've actually shipped with any power on. We can just take a quick look at that display if we can get that to power up. In terms of the other stuff that's included, you get some software included like the McAfee, Skype and other bits and pieces already pre-installed. There's the Cyberlink UCAM pre-installed, Office trials and all that kind of stuff. Kind of the stuff you come to expect. A standard 1-year warranty, but it can be extended to 3. Well, I'm going to pop it around into the stand mode, and let's see if we can log in. Luckily the PR agency provided me with the password ahead of time. So, going to be kind of difficult to see in a video such as this, and over YouTube as well. It's going to kind of difficult to appreciate how good the display is. But as you can imagine, 3200 pixels by 1800 pixels on a 13.3 inch display, there are an awful lot of pixels to cram into such a space, and therefore the text, even the smallest of text there, I can go as close as I possibly can without going out of focus, even the text there is extremely smooth and obviously there's plenty of resolution to play around with. We obviously do have the touch screen, so we have all the pre-installed apps that you can see there, some bits and pieces that Lenovo pre-install for us, and obviously stuff that is just standard Windows 8. We can pop to the desktop, and as you can see there, again, we've got an awful lot of resolution to play around with. It's very impressive in terms of the clarity and also the brightness. It's pretty bright. I don't know what sort of brightness level we are currently set to. Perhaps we could have a look at that. And there we go. Okay, so we weren't even towards the top end of the brightness there. We're down here somewhere, so it can go extremely bright if you want to. I think that's probably sort of the comfort level anyway. But with the touch screen, it works rather nicely. As you can see there, and pretty impressive. I say display is pretty awesome. I must admit that's actually really quite surprising in terms of just how good that is, and hopefully that really does continue on to other devices as well. I mean, certainly the Lenovo's Horizon 27-inch display, it would be good to see that in a much higher resolution. It makes it sort of much more of a viable option for doing graphics work and so on. So there we go, that's a reasonably quick look at the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro. We will have a review for you over the coming weeks, and if you want to ask me any questions about it while I'm doing the review, or if you've got any comments, please follow us on Twitter at TracyandMatt, TracyandMatt, or on Facebook, our Facebook page, facebook.com/tracyandmatt.co.uk. Also, you can get hold of me via Google+. I'm plus Matt Davis 1, MATTDAVIS, and the number 1. Or indeed, if you want to get hold of the rest of the team or have a look at our main page, it's plus Leod, L-E-O-D-E-E, which is associated with our YouTube account. So if you're watching this on YouTube, just head over and find us on Google Plus as well. And I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.